Hi everyone. You will see in the different learning modules every week there is a PowerPoint slide and a video. And what the PowerPoint slide covers is one of the particular NASW core values. And NASW, for those of you who are not yet familiar with that phrase or the acronym, is the National Association of Social Workers. And so that's the body that we follow as social workers, which you will be soon when you finish your master's in social work degree. These are the core values and the ethical principles that guide our profession. They're very specific, and there are elements about our code of ethics that really set us apart from other helping professions. So what I want to do in this course is to highlight one of the core values every week and how you might consider how you apply it as a student to your life and to the field work that you're doing throughout the MSW program. And one thing I've done is ask different people that I work with, there may be fellow instructors or other individuals that I know, how they apply one of the core values. And I didn't specify who had to talk about what. I just asked different people if they would be willing to be on video for the class and to select one of the core values that they wanted to, and then to talk about how they apply that particular core value to their current profession or just like to their current job or in general as being a social worker. So each week you'll see a different video and someone talking about how they apply that core value. So the first week we talked about integrity, which is something that you covered in your discussion board as well after reading those two articles and talking about integrity. And the video for the first week, the individual talked about how she applies integrity to her current job within the field office. And Elizabeth is wonderful, and many of you will have the opportunity to work with her as you move forward in the program and start your field placement. But I wanted to talk to you about how I apply integrity to my current position as a social worker, which is to be an instructor in the ASU online Masters in Social Work program. So I think one of the very first things I think about when I think about being a social worker is to act with integrity, and what does that mean, and how do I apply that to being an instructor. And so for me, the first starting place, the place that makes most sense, is the content and the delivery of that content, and how is that material delivered with integrity. So there are requirements for what we provide material-wise, like the textbook covers different requirements, and some of the assignments have different requirements, and you'll see all of that in your course syllabus. So within those guidelines, I think about how can I deliver information that helps prepare students and builds a strong foundation for you as a future social worker. I take our profession so very, very, very seriously, because when we work with individuals, we are working with them at a very vulnerable time in their life. People don't generally go and see a social worker because things are going very fantastically. They go and see a social worker because something's gone awry, something's amiss, and they need assistance. Or if you're more into macro level social work, which is something I am becoming more and more interested in, we're addressing major social problems. So again, something's gone awry, something's not okay. So our profession comes in at a time that demands the utmost care and respect. So when I think about the material we deliver, I think about making sure it's challenging and educational, and that it engages in people to think about the different concepts that are brought up. And there are things that we have to discuss, but I'd rather them be discussed in a way that engages critical thinking. So I ask a lot of questions. Sometimes I ask questions that I don't know what I think the answer is, or I have a lot of ideas of what I think the answer is, and I may ask questions that don't necessarily have a black or white answer. In fact, most of them don't. But I really want people to think about things and go beyond, this is what I read in the textbook, to this is what I read in the textbook, and this is how it applies to actual life scenarios, and this is what I would actually do if presented with this particular situation. So I really try to present the material that makes you think beyond just reading it and then getting on to the next thing. I also have to make sure that all of the material meets all of our accreditation standards. So there's a CSWE, which is the Council on Social Work Education, and the EPOS, which you probably have seen in the syllabus, which is the Educational and Policy Accreditation Standards. So I have to make sure all of the material covers that. And then obviously I think about everything we do and how does it reflect the NASW Code of Ethics, and loop back to that. So thinking of integrity, how does the material help students become the most well-prepared students possible to meet the needs of the people they're serving? And then the other thing I think about is relationships, and how am I building relationships with students and with the co-instructors in the group. There's so many students involved, it can be challenging. So, I do weekly videos and assignment description videos and all of that to try to build rapport with students, because as you know, building rapport with someone is the way that you start to build trust. And I want the educational experience to be one in which students can be honest about their thoughts, and to feel like they can explore concepts and not worry that, that especially if they're new to the field, that they don't know something, so they're already behind or they're already missing. The whole point of being in school is to learn and to grow. So you shouldn't come in prepared with all of the knowledge you'll need, or why would you be in school? There wouldn't be any point to it. So I want to try to build relationships with everyone, and that also means that I have to be really honest about things, and also that I have to apply the same principles and the same standards to everyone. So I don't want to provide assignments that are just easy and can be checked off, that we can grade really quickly, because grading takes a lot of time, especially in the online program, because we provide important feedback on all of the assignments. So it would be easy to provide assignments that are self-graded or something, but I don't want to do that, because I want you to have an opportunity to learn and grow and get feedback. And it means that I have to apply the same standards to everyone. So the syllabus is really important, because it sets the foundation up for what the expectations are for when assignments are due, and that we don't deviate from that, because it's not fair to everyone, and it's not acting with integrity if I apply one standard to someone over here and another standard to someone over here. I sometimes have the opportunity, back when I was teaching in person, to work with students who were in the undergrad program, and then they may move into the graduate program, and I want to make sure that if they come into my class, they have the same standards from then as they do now to all of the peers in their course as well. So that's also why we use rubrics, so that everyone has the same grading standards, even though we use groups. So I think this video is probably a little bit long, so I apologize for that. But that's why I take everything we do so seriously, because of this, one of these core values right here is integrity. And I think it's really important that as the instructor for this class, that I act with integrity, and that means I deliver material that is engaging for the students, and connects you to the material beyond just what you read, but also to real life, so that those that you help in the future have someone who is ready to support them and work through whatever it is that they're working with, and also so that the same standards are met for everyone. So that's how I approach integrity, and I look forward to hearing more from all of you on how you approach integrity when I go through and read your discussion board posts. Thank you.